56 killed, houses burnt in Plateau community attack. Generator fumes kill 7 in Bayelsa. Nakon airlifts 10,675 pilgrims of 2024 Hajj. And on the foreign scene, Norway, Ireland, Spain promise to recognize Palestinian states. Hello, welcome to News Updates on Trust TV. My name is Lilian Ogazi. Now to the news. Suspected bandits have reportedly killed over 56 persons after they attacked Zurak village in Basha district of Wase local government area of Plateau State. According to reports, several houses were set ablaze by the bandits during the attack, which occurred on Monday evening. According to residents of the community, who confirmed the incident in Jos on Tuesday, the incident occurred around 7 p.m. on Monday when people in the community were going about their normal activities, but they could not report the incident due to the poor communication network in the area. The spokesman for the military task force in Plateau State, Samson Zakom, said investigation is ongoing to ascertain the true situation of the incident. So joining us at this time, live, we have Trust TV reporter Ado Musa from Plateau to give us an update. Ado, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us, what's the latest on the casualty figures and security measures so far?
Well, just like you have mentioned, the casualty figure now is 56. A traditional ruler in the area, Lawal Idris, confirmed this figure to me this morning, that yesterday the death toll was 50, but a moment later they were able to recover 6 more bodies, and then the 6 more bodies have been buried. So all in all, we have 56 persons who have lost their lives in the incident.
Okay, so what's the current situation of things there in the community? What's it like there for the people? Has any security measures been put in place?
Yes, according to the resident of the community, that the security personnel have arrived the community lately yesterday, and that gave a kind of confidence to most of the residents who have fled the community to return. The traditional ruler confirmed to me that the residents of the community are returning because they have realized that security personnel have already arrived the community to ensure law and order. So everything is calm there, and everybody is going about his normal activities.
So what more have you learned about the background of the incident in southern Plateau?
Well, I spoke to one of the youth leaders in the community this morning, who narrated or rather who gave me a kind of narration to what he felt that was the cause of this problem. He said a week before the attack, there were some farmers who were working on their farms when suddenly some of these bandits met them while working on their farms. So when they met them, they told them categorically, a kind of verbal notice, that this time around, it will be very difficult for farmers to engage in farming activities, even though they did not tell the farmers or they did not give them their wages, but they asked them to go and inform members of their community and all other communities surrounding or around that address that this year there will be no farming activities. So when they returned to the village, according to this youth leader, that they told the members of the community that nobody took it serious until when the attack was launched on Monday. So this is what we are having, or what the members of the community are telling us now, which I believe that the security personnel or the security agencies must take these things serious, so that something of that nature or the attack in some of these communities will not happen again.
All right, so at the moment, has any arrest been made whatsoever?
Yes, according to the spokesperson of the State Police Command, DSP Alabo Alfred, that one of the suspects has been arrested and he has been brought to the State Police Command. So at the moment, one person has been arrested in connection to the attack.
All right, thank you, Ado. We look forward to getting more updates from you as the story unfolds. Thank you for joining us on the news.
Thank you for having me.
Now, moving on. No fewer than 7 people were reportedly killed following an incident that occurred on Tuesday morning at a recording studio on Ebbies Road, Amarata, Yenogwa, the Bayelsa State capital. Now, according to eyewitnesses, music artists, including popular musician Sim Kells, had gathered at the studio to record an album, but due to the absence of electricity, decided to use a generator which they kept inside the studio due to security concerns. However, tragedy struck when the generator's carbon monoxide emissions suffocated even artists. Trust TV Friday Ebimobowe, Peter has more.
According to a neighbor of one of the deceased artists, Bekele Jacqueline, the incident could have been avoided if there was a public power supply from the electricity distribution company.
This particular guy, this my neighbor, that is the pain inside me. The pain inside me is the breadwinner of the family. This boy just died like that, 7 of them gone like that. It's so pathetic. Bayelsa State government should do something about NEPA. We have not gotten light for the past 3 weeks. And I'm telling the NEPA not to come near Ebis Mechanic Street to come and collect NEPA bill again. If they come, that is the pain in me, the pain in us here. They will go with, that is, they will see the other side of us. Because we are annoyed. We are not using light. NEPA should not come and take light bill. If there is light today, these boys would have not died.
The Bayelsa State Commissioner of Police, Aloyenu Idu, who confirmed the incident and assured that the police are investigating the incident to unravel the cause of the death, however, blamed the incident on negligence.
If it's anything that has to do with the fume, toxicologists to be able to extract the toxicity that made life incompatible with their bodies. But if it's another thing different from what everybody has suspected, the medical facilities we have here is capable of resolving. And if we are unable to get enough and sufficient hands to carry out the analysis, we will send to Lagos and Port Harcourt to have us a full closure to this incident. Our reaction will continue to be advisory to people who walk into the night. The generator is an outside instrument. It must be outside because it has fumes and it's highly toxic. And when there's no air, cross ventilation in an environment, it can suffocate. More so when you have this number of people in one room. So we're not jumping to conclusions yet until the analysis comes from the experts.
The incident has thrown the Nigerian music industry as well as the community into mourning, with many decrying the loss of talented and promising musicians. From Yenagwa, Friday Ebimobowe Peter. Trust TV News, Yenagwa.
Operatives from the Imo State Police Command Anti-Kidnapping Squad have successfully rescued a pregnant woman and her 4-year-old son from a group of dangerous kidnappers in the state. Trust TV's Ajibade Praise has the details in this report.
The squad, led by their commander, Assistant Commissioner of Police, ACP Oladimeji Odeyeyiwa, raided the kidnappers' den and freed the victims. Among the items recovered from the gang were 2 pump-action guns, a live tortoise, India hemp, live cartridges, stolen vehicles, various masquerades, and others.
Gentlemen of the press, these 2 pump-action guns were recovered by operatives of the Command Anti-Kidnapping Unit following an intelligence-led operation that was led by the Commander Anti-Kidnapping, CSP Oladimeji Odeyeyiwa. We equally recovered live cartridges from them. And once again, this underscores the commitment of the command to hunt down criminally minded elements in this state.
The victims expressed gratitude for the gallant efforts of the police and shared their ordeal in the hands of the kidnappers.
I sat down, like 15, 20 minutes, I get some energy, but one eye was about to close. And I climbed that hill, back to the main third road.
Still bleeding?
Still bleeding. And I climbed the hill, that was around, I don't know the time, but it was late. When I started walking, I saw a building with light, I went there, nobody was there. I went to the other building. Midnight, I knocked. One man came out from the floor. He said, kidnappers, they arrest me, they took me to Mubu. Please, can you help me cut the rope? The man now from his house, he cut the rope. My hand was behind, he cut the rope tonight.
Met me that bathroom day. As they successfully opened the door, they slapped me. That's what they did. The first thing they did was slapped me. They didn't say don't shoot me. They carried me immediately, went downstairs, went to the road of our village. They sat me down on the floor there. I was being beaten there and they started asking me for my gold. They started asking me for my husband's gold. That where is my husband? I told them that my husband is not around. That I'm the only person in that house with my son.
Henry Okoye reiterated the command's strict policies as instructed by the Commissioner of Police, CP Aboki Danjuma. He warned all criminals in the state to repent or relocate, emphasizing that the command will continue to maintain zero tolerance for crime. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
Meanwhile, the Iowa Consultative Forum, ACF, has called on the federal government to address regional disparities in infrastructure and other developmental indices to ensure that Nigeria remains a united entity. The ACF, in a communique issued at the end of its NEC meeting in Kaduna, also wants governments at all levels to urgently confront the rapid decline in the living conditions of citizens due to soaring prices of goods and services. Trust TV's Bello Musa has more.
The meeting commenced with the observance of a minute silence in honor of the late General Garbaduba and other members of the forum who passed on. In his opening remarks, the chairman of the Iowa Consultative Forum, ACF Mike Mamman, raised concern over security and socio-political challenges affecting the development of North.
We live in a region that has witnessed and is still witnessing profound difficulties. I'm aware of the security challenges from terrorist groups, from bandits, the restraint on farming actuated by the disturbing factors arising from terrorism and banditry. And that has given rise to the cost of food items.
In the communique issued at the end of the meeting, the ACF, after a careful reflection on the challenges of the region, said insecurity must be tackled head-on in order to accelerate development of the North.
NEC notes that the times continue to be tough and challenging for the average citizen, who is daily confronted with runaway inflation, unemployment, rapid deterioration in standards of living, all in the face of incidents of insurgency, terrorism, and banditry. Problems that have remained dire, acute, or even chronic in some places, in the North in particular. The immediate causes of the problems have been policies put in place by government over the past month, including but not confined to the removal of subsidies from the prices of petroleum products, floating of the naira, and astronomical hike in the cost of poorly supplied electricity.
While commending security agencies for their efforts towards ridding the country of insecurity and instability, the forum called on the citizens to pray for God's intervention to help the country address its challenges. Bello Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, says it has ferried 10,675 Nigerian pilgrims to Saudi Arabia for the 2024 Hajj pilgrimage. A statement by NACON's Assistant Director for Public Affairs, Fatima Sanda Usara, stated that it was able to transport the pilgrims through Flynas with 4,665 pilgrims, followed by Max Air with 4,479 and Air Peace with 1,531 pilgrims. She added that so far no flight cancellation has been recorded except for a flight delay that resulted in the time shifts that affected the Kwara inaugural flight. She advised pilgrims to be calm and take note that Commission has a first in, first out policy on return from Saudi Arabia to Nigeria, adding that the initial challenge in the issuance of basic travel allowance to pilgrims has been resolved. This is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Coming up, Nigerians react to latest $500 million World Bank loan to addressing electricity metering gap. More news when we return. Do stay. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Let's take a look at our headline stories again. 56 killed, houses burned in Plateau community attack. Generator fumes kill 7 in Bayelsa. Now moving on. At the plenary resumption of plenary on Tuesday, the Senate stepped down the adoption of a bill for concurrence from the House of Representatives sponsored by the leader of the Senate, Opeyemi Bamidele. The bill seeks to repeal the Audit Ordinance of 1956 and enacts the Federal Audit Service Bill, which it expects will grant autonomy to the Auditor General of the Federation to check economic compromise. Senate correspondent Sergey Ibrahim brings us this and more from Tuesday's plenary.
The bill's sponsor and leader of the Senate, Opeyemi Bamidele, during the presentation of the lead debate, revealed that the Federal Audit Service Bill 2024, which seeks to establish the Federal Audit Service, provide additional powers and functions of the Auditor General for the Federation, establish the Federal Audit Board, among others, was a new bill passed in the House of Representatives.
This is supposed to be a reenactment of an ordinance of 1956, which, for the record, I must inform, is nowhere to be found, not even in the office of the Auditor General of the Federation.
Senator Bamidele, however, mentioned that while his colleagues consider the bill for concurrence, they should note that the Audit Ordinance of 1956, which the new bill intends to replace, was non-existent in the law books or the Auditor General's office. This sparked the debate on whether the Senate could repeal an act it did not know about, with some senators insisting that the original law be found, even if it means reaching out to those who colonized Nigeria.
Mr. President, with profound respect to the leader of the House, he has even complicated the matter. How do you repeal what you don't know? I think that the Auditor General is not the last office to check. I would have liked to know whether the Attorney General of the Federation does not also have a copy of this law in their archive.
You recall that when they brought a bill for concurrence like this for NDLEA Act, we raised the same objection because we're not given the act that was to be amended.
This is one bill that will give autonomy and independence to the Auditor General's office. And I dare say that if the Auditor General has that autonomy, he can fight economic sabotage probably more than EFCC.
The Senate ruled to step down consideration on the bill until the Audit Ordinance of 1956 is found. The Senate on Tuesday also passed a bill for second reading to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act 2004 to make provision for the establishment of the Federal College of Fisheries and Aquatic Services at Umesha in Toto Local Government Area, Nasarawa State.
The college will serve as a hub for research and innovation in fisheries and aquatic sciences leading to the development of new technologies, practices, and solutions to enhance productivity, sustainability, and value addition in the sector.
There is a need for the creation of more additional fisheries schools with a view to attracting our youths to engage in aquaculture for the purpose of earning a living.
Still on the deliberations during Tuesday's plenary, the Nigerian Senate resolved to convene a national security summit in a bid to find lasting solutions to the nation's pressing security challenges. Senator Issa Jibrin, representing Kogi East, who raised the motion, drew the attention of his colleagues to the deadly attack in his constituency, which led to the loss of lives and properties allegedly due to the activities of rogue herdsmen.
About a month ago, some communities in Nomala local government area of Kogi State were ravaged by some herdsmen. So many lives, over 30 lives were lost. So many of them, most of the people, the inhabitants in those communities have been, the ones who survived have been displaced.
An action should be taken to ban this type of migrant grazing with cattle across Nigeria. We must have to do things the way they are done in civilized nations. Ranching has been proposed, time without number, that we should be able to put our cattle in confined settlements and nurture them.
Ruling on the motion, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, said the summit will be all-encompassing, consequently leading to the resolve to set up an ad hoc committee comprising one senator from each geopolitical zone to look at the matter holistically. The Senate, however, observed a minute's silence in honor of those killed. From the Red Chamber of the National Assembly, Sagir Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
Following last week's Senate approval of a $500 million loan from the World Bank for the purchase of electricity meters, Nigerians have been speaking on the federal government's commitment to addressing the power situation in the country. With the country struggling with an evident metering gap, many are positive that if managed properly, the loan will help address the perennial crisis in the sector, while others are worried that it would only add to the country's debt burden without any commensurate impact on the sector. The report.
The $500 million loan recently approved by the Senate is part of the $7.94 billion World Bank loan sought by President Bola Tinubu on November 1st, 2023. The fund is aimed at bridging the electricity metering gap the country is currently facing. However, many have been wondering how well the project fits into the power sector gaps with regards to service delivery.
This calls for a lot of accountability because the challenge with the sector has been that a lot of investment has happened, and this was what led us to the point where liquidity became we had a liquidity crisis, where the regulator and the energy trading company MBET was saying that the discos weren't remitting enough. The discos charge customers for meters. What is the difference that this 500 million is going to make? Is it to subsidize customers who cannot afford to pay for their meters? Or is it to do other necessary things on the electricity distribution and transmission systems that would guarantee that power can flow preferably bidirectionally?
With the country facing several grid collapses that plunged the nation into protracted blackouts, as well as inconsistent power supply, putting concerns about the federal government's ability to effectively address the challenges have been raised.
It's a chicken and egg situation. You can't just raise tariffs and buy meters without making concurrent investments in the infrastructure that will generate and move that electricity from one point to another.
The loan has since stirred mixed reactions amongst Nigerians who on one hand welcomed it while expressing fear that it will only add to Nigeria's rising debt profile.
I think it's a loan too much. This government doesn't want us to have a breathing space. The level of poverty in this country, the level in other advanced countries, these meters are given free of charge because invariably the users of the meter are going to pay for it.
The purpose of the loan is appropriate. However, my concern is why is the federal government concerned with metering houses. As far as I know, the power sector has been unbundled a long time ago. All the GenCos and DisCos have been advertised, even though the federal government has shares.
As a crucial part of Nigeria's economy, there is a continuous need to inject investments into the country's power sector to address the recurring challenges therein. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And now on the foreign scene, Norway, Ireland and Spain announced on Wednesday that they will recognize the Palestinian state, prompting Israel to immediately recall envoys. Ireland leaders said his nation would recognize Palestine as a state, but did not specify the timing, while leaders of Norway and Spain said their nations would do so as of May 28th. Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store announced in Oslo, Spain, Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez in Madrid, and Irish Prime Minister Simon Harris in Dublin. The Israeli Foreign Ministry had earlier posted a video message to address Ireland on the social media platform X, warning that recognizing a Palestinian state risks turning you into a pawn in the hands of Iran and Hamas. Israel said plans for Palestine recognition constitute a price for terrorism that would reduce the chances of a negotiated resolution to the Gaza war.
Today, Ireland, Norway and Spain are announcing that we recognize the state of Palestine. Each of us will now undertake whatever national steps are necessary to give effect to that decision. In the lead up to today's announcement, I've spoken with a number of other leaders and counterparts, and I'm confident that further countries will join us in taking this important step in the coming weeks. This is an historic and important day for Ireland and for Palestine. On the 21st of January 1919, Ireland asked the world to recognise our right to be an independent state. Our message to the free nations of the world was a plea for international recognition of our independence, emphasising our distinct national identity, our historical struggle, and our right to self-determination.
Well, with that, we've come to the end of News Update. Do well to follow us across all our social media platforms for more news, program, and documentaries. My name is Lilian Ogazi. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.